All right, we're gonna do a passenger pickup. We're gonna turn on our right signal, look at our right mirror, and begin to pull over to the right. We're gonna pull to our far right, not even a bicycle can pass. And we're gonna stop 15 feet away from the bus stop or the door. We're gonna secure our vehicle, activate our four-way flashers, and give our universal hand sign. The hand sign has to be visible. And you gotta look at your mirrors at the same time as giving the hand sign. If there's no vehicles, you just open your door and then give the universal hand sign for them to come inside of the bus as you're checking your mirrors. Again, once they are all coming in, you count them as they come in. Make sure you account for everybody. Make sure you tell them no running, hold the handrail, and buckle up. Once the last kid has entered, close the door, check your mirrors, and tell them they all must buckle up and wait for them to put on their seatbelt, and you hear the seatbelt click. Once you hear the seatbelt click, you get ready to go. Turn off your four-way flashers, release your parking brake, put it into gear, turn the wheel and signal, check your mirror and your blind spot, and pull out. And check your tail swing too on the pull out. Now, as we're driving, we're also gonna do the drop off now. Up ahead, we're gonna drop this passenger off. Now, always remember, there's a school bus way of doing it with the amber warning lights. You could do it that way too, with the amber warning lights. Doing it with the amber warning lights is more of a 19A exam and not what they're expecting on the day of your road test. On the day of your road test, they just want the basic things where you just turn on the four-way flashers. And then once you get a school bus driving job, you're gonna take another road test called 19A. And that test, you are gonna have to activate your amber warning lights. And then once you open your door, your stop sign will pop out. But for the road test, it's just the standard thing. And it's just your four-way flashers. If you get fancy enough to learn how to activate your warning lights for the road test, even better, but it's not necessary. So up ahead, we're gonna drop this passenger off. And we're gonna pretend that he's gonna cross the street. Because the school is on the opposite side. So remember, the universal hand sign for stopping is like this. The universal hand sign for coming is like this. And the universal hand sign for crossing is like this. And remember, your hand signs are always visible. So up ahead, we're going to do our drop off. If we were to activate the amber warning lights, we would activate it now, 200 feet before. I'm gonna put on my right signal, check my right side. Right side is clear. I'm gonna pull over, not even a bicycle can pass. And there's actually a bicycle trying to come around me. Yep, they're coming around from the left. Nice. Nice. I want to secure my vehicle. On my drop off, I'm going to make sure I tell my passenger before he exits the vehicle, I'm going to let him know to stop 15 feet in front of the vehicle and then wait for my hand sign. Once, I'm going to give him two hand signs as he's in front of my vehicle. The first hand sign is to come to the headlight and look for oncoming traffic. So once you give him the hand sign to come to the headlight, you give him the hand sign to look for oncoming traffic. And then give him the universal hand sign to wait again, to stop. Once you're very sure that there's no cars coming, that's when you give him the hand sign to cross. So now we're gonna put it all into action. So we already pulled over to the right, not even a bicycle can pass, activated our four-way flashers. As the passenger is coming off of his chair, I'm gonna call him, hey Johnny, it's your stop. Johnny's gonna come up front, and now I'm gonna let Johnny know, hey Johnny, make sure you wait 15 feet in front of the bus and remember the hand sign. The hand sign for a stop, the hand sign to come to the headlight and look for oncoming traffic, and then finally the hand sign to cross. You understand, right Johnny? All right. We're gonna open our door, make sure no oncoming traffic, checking our mirrors. Johnny has just stepped out, and now Johnny is by the portable bathroom. And then I'm gonna give Johnny the universal hand sign to wait because there's cars coming. Once I see there's no cars coming, now I'm gonna tell Johnny, hey Johnny, come to the headlight and watch for cars and wait. Now there's a lot of cars coming. I'm not gonna tell Johnny to cross yet. Once there's no more cars, now I'm gonna give him the universal cross sign and make sure he crosses over. And the door has to be open until he fully crosses if it's in the 19A exam, because the stop sign needs to stay out. But if you don't have a stop sign and it's a regular bus, then you just close your door and just make sure before you give him the cross sign, there's no oncoming traffic on both sides. And that's it for your passenger pickup and your passenger drop off. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. So there's a lot of common errors when people are doing pickup and drop off. Number one, when pulling over, they're not pulling over close enough and a bicycle can pass from the side. That, it will affect them and also the passengers when the door is open. You got to make sure that side is clear before you open that door. Number two, pulling 15 feet behind the bus stop in order to see your passengers. That cone is the 15 feet marker in this case. So if you're doing door to door, then the door should be behind where that cone is. And if it's a bus stop, literally where that cone is, which is about 7 to 8 steps. Another thing, the universal hand sign. This is the universal hand sign for stop. Make sure when you give this universal hand sign, it's not low over here where nobody can see it. You got to make sure it's up and in the direction of your stop. Some people like to put it this way, down. It has to be towards your passengers. This is the universal sign for stop. This is the universal sign to come inside. And then this is the universal sign for crossing. And then if you want him to come to the headlight, that's the universal sign to come to the headlight. You point towards where that mirror is. Always give your universal signs and make sure they're high up. Once you pull over, make sure your foot is off of the brake pedal and it has to be further back. You cannot even be on it, and your lights cannot be on at any time in the back. If they see any brake lights on, that means most likely you're in gear. So you want to put it to neutral, apply your brakes, and move your foot all the way back. Give them the universal hand sign. Check your mirrors as you're giving them the universal hand sign. Check your mirror again before you open the door. Once you open the door, give the universal hand sign to wait as you check your mirror one last time, and then give them the universal hand sign to come in once you're for sure it's clear. Once they come in, count them as they come in, close the door behind them, tell them to hold the handrail, no running, and then put on your seatbelts. After that, you're ready to go. You just turn off your four-way flashers, release your parking brake, put it back into gear, turn your wheel, turn on your left indicator, make sure you check your mirror, your blind spot, and you're good to go. Now, same thing, common errors when doing the drop-offs. Remember, in the drop-offs, you have to communicate with your passenger before they exit this bus. And, practice this. Tell them where the 15 feet marker is, and tell them, what the universal hand sign is to come to the front by the headlight before crossing. And tell them, take them out, tell them when they're there, look around for traffic. Look around for anything hazardous. And then, finally, you just got to give them the universal crossing sign and hold up that crossing sign. Tell them to keep eye contact with you and make sure they still see the crossing sign. And tell them, if in case of an emergency, if I yell out, stop, or go back, or if I press the horn, then that means go back to safety point zone, which is either by the headlight or back 15 feet in front of the bus by the cone. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like, follow, and share this video with everybody. Team Ion Institute, we the best.